Show, the Drew and Fuse Show, the Drew and Fuse Show. They clean up nicely. It's the Drew and Fuse Show, the Drew and Fuse Show, the Drew and Fuse Show. Yeah, they clean up nicely. Yeah.
Hello.
What's up, Daft Punks? Thanks for joining us on this lovely Wednesday.
Hopefully the episode came out on Wednesday. If the dog didn't eat Drew's homework or something.
I'm Drew Pierce here from Long Beach, California, and I do the edit. So sometimes, that one, the last one fell on my birthday. What do you want?
Yeah, it happens. It happens. Yeah, and I am Fusemania from Cincinnati, Ohio, and I don't do the edit. But
we're getting better. We're working on no edits. This is soon going to be no edits, and as you'll see over time, the episodes have been a little bit shorter. So if you are not on our Facebook, go on the Facebook and chime in on anything you want us to be talking about or cleaning up.
Yeah, we have the group now on Facebook, so if you're not in the Facebook group, join it, chat in there, anything DJ related, edits, advice, whatever, anything that we can help with, let us know. Also, we do have that YOLO line still if you want to call in, 562-246-YOLO. You can leave us voicemail, you can leave us a drunk dial, you can tell me how much you hate me. If you're watching this on YouTube and that I offended you because I said Clay Aiken sucks, why don't you just call and tell me how you really feel? But I'm just going to be honest, Clay Aiken does suck.
Team Ruben, right?
I'm team neither. I'm not sorry for 2004. Wasn't that Ruben's song? I'm sorry for 2004.
Oh, my wife had on American Idol on the other day, and how's this show still on? And it's the randomest people. It's like Katy Perry, Lionel Richie, and some fucking country guy. And I thought, who's still watching this shit? Obviously my wife, but who's still watching that shit?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't get it. Also, if you haven't yet, use promo code Drew and Fuse Show. It'll get you 30% off your first month of activation over at directmusicservice.com. If you haven't been on Direct Music Service yet, make sure you go check it out. We got tons of great exclusive edits on the site that you can download and fill your Serato or whatever you want to do with that. Also, in the description of this video below, there'll be a link for a coupon for $25 off your purchase of $250 or more at Club Cannon. So if you're looking for a Club Cannon and looking to take your parties up to an 11, make sure you click on that link because it'll save you $25. Also, we have a 20% off code to Briggs Beard Company. If you want that beard product, if you want your beard looking as nice as Drew's, he's going to demonstrate right here on the air how to do it. You just put the drops of Jupiter right there on your face, give it a little rub down. Did you make it to the Milky Way to see the lights are faded?
What?
And that heaven is overrated. And tell me, did you fall for a shooting star?
It does. I mean, it does look crispier. Like you notice the difference.
Yeah. Once you put it on, got that comb and everything. Let's see, what else do we got? Anything else, real quick? Any dilemmas? Anything new?
It's all she wrote.
That's it.
We got an awesome guest.
Right into it. Yeah, we got a great guest today. He's in the New England area. He is the first video DJ that we have brought on the show. Real video DJ. I do some video DJing on Friday nights, but literally I just mostly play songs with videos and attach random files to songs that don't have videos. So our guy today is a real video DJ. He's been doing it for a long time. He's had edits on Crooklyn Clan, and he did the video remix report with JD and Jay Spring, if you guys remember that. Please help us welcome Joshua Carl.
Hey, gentlemen, how are you?
Good. Thanks for being on the show with us today.
Video report. That seems like a lifetime ago.
Well, I had to go digging around looking for your bio. It wasn't up. I found that on, I don't even know what I found that on.
the paparazzi got a little crazy, and I just had to dial things back. You know, people outside my house. It got once we put the video report man cave out on Vine, shit went sideways. Like there's signs, it was crazy. No, but that was my co-host DJ Eloy and I were good friends with JD and Jay Spring, and that actually catapulted both of us kind of unwillingly into like a different place or different I don't want to say level because that's not really what I meant, but it was all of a sudden like, oh, these are the guys to ask all the questions. And that is what pushed me to, I mean, actually, if you were to go back, that's probably why I'm here today, because I was forever like, I need the answers. I need the answers. I need the answers. So, not to take over your show or anything like I just did.
No, that's what you're on for. We have no personalities. That's what we have guests on.
Oh, wait, time out. Your intro is friggin' amazing. So Fuse, I don't think we've actually met in person before. Correct me if I'm wrong. And Drew, I've met you a few times when I was out there. Watching your video, and this isn't a kiss up to the host, made me go, these are my guys. Like it was definitely like beards, nerdy shit. Like he starts putting on the like I use a different product that I won't mention, but I'm not even exaggerating when I tell you I trimmed my beard, which was relatively like I had maybe 2 inches on the bottom about an hour ago. It was I get to this point with the beard when I would say there's a small incursion of aggressive hairs that I just decide to go, we're going that way. And all of a sudden I'll wake up in the morning, it'll be like a 3-inch friggin' like, it's like it looks like a tree branch with an ornament on it, just kind of like hanging out. I'm like, I can't do it anymore. I have OCD out the friggin' wazoo. So
even though you use a different brand, how is the oil though? It's pretty necessary.
It's
right?
legit. Yeah. You know what I found is I use Cremo, which is like a Target brand. I use their like conditioner, which is basically like a cream, and I cream it first, giggity, and then after the cream kind of dissipates and it's not like shiny, just a dab will do you of the oil, and then just oil it, and then I have to walk away because when you put the oil in, sometimes it activates those angry ones, and they start going like ping, 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 and I'm like. My wife would be like, you've been in the shower in the bathroom for like 15 minutes. What are you doing? And I'm like, I've cut like 17 rogue hairs in this time that I've been in here. Just so
it's the rogue hair.
The rogue hair element was getting out of control. And the thing is I don't have a strong chin. I know that. And the beard gave me that fake strong chin. So right now I'm very aware of what's happening right here. So.
I love the beard. I'm so happy that it came into existence where it's okay to just, have a beard at all points, right? Mm-hmm. For the longest time, you're always supposed to shave, and I felt like my skin was always just irritated at all points.
I was in the Army for quite a while, so I had to shave so I don't know if you guys are completely aware, but you're not really supposed to shave upwards against the grain.
Right.
Once in a while, like if you're not going to be able to shave and you need your face to be relatively smooth at 4:00 in the afternoon, but you're always supposed to shave down. My hair used to come in at like 2:00 in the afternoon. So my drill sergeants would be like, you need to shave upwards. And I was 18 years old. So I'm like, okay. And I would get like that ingrown red, nasty neck. And it was so bad. And I'm like, I'm 18. My skin is like porcelain. And like, you guys are turning it into a baseball glove. Like it was horrible. But yeah, like you said, like I remember like for a while, the mustache was like a hipster thing. If you had a mustache, you probably had like a fedora and a tight t-shirt, and then like the lumberjack thing came out. And I was like, this is perfect because I'm getting fat. I don't want to deal with this. Everybody's embracing like the dad bod thing. So I spent my whole life being skinny, and it wasn't because I did anything. I was just a skinny dude my whole life. And then I hit like 35 and my stomach was like, we're out. We're done. We're coming. Party's on. We're showing up. So
We're showing up to the party. I love it. So you're out in Boston and you gig quite a bit. You're mostly you do a lot of videos at all the clubs and everything out there, right?
yeah, I would say almost all my gigs are video, and not all of them started that way. If it didn't start that way, it usually like I'd either plant the seed or someone would mention to either the owner or whoever's booking me. We can get into a story in a little bit about Avalon, which I'm in the circulation now, which is one of like the mega clubs out here. When we talk about how to get into video and club, but into clubs if they don't have it, we can attack that then. But some gigs are, hey, you do video, we have a lot of video things, can you come take a look and see if it's possible? And it's always possible.
Right.
Sometimes it's super easy, sometimes it's a pain in the ass. With technology going the way it is, it's more often than not easy. The ones that I don't do it, I still do video. I'm still playing video files, and it's kind of funny that we're here today because I just moved from my 2015 i7 to my 2023 M.2, which for the first time in my life, all my video and audio are on one computer. No more dongles and hard drives and all that crap. So I'm fighting with do I need 3 copies of this song in video and then 4 copies of it in audio too? Like, do I need 8 versions of this one song? So trying to cut the library down is a chore.
I do video and I dumped mine down. I mostly just have the video.
Mhm.
And if not, I'll try and make the video make the audio into a video just so I have it.
Right.
Just stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I'm going to eventually get to that point. I do have a fair amount of hoarder in me coming from the vinyl era. It's just like, give me all the musics and I'll figure it out later. And for a while, I was just literally grabbing everything I could. And then I opened my library one day and was like, I couldn't navigate this creatively if I wanted to. Like,
Right.
I thought it was slick to like, oh, I'll just do like every month of every year. So then I'm like, all right, well, great. This set is to make you vibe with what came out in January 2016 because that's what everybody wants. Like it didn't make sense. So the last month and a half, I've been going through my library and most importantly, adding the proper year, not the year
yeah.
like the remixer just put out the remix.
Proper year.
And then the like my version of genres, sometimes people throw genres in there. I'm like, never heard anybody refer to this as that. Like, but I hate the word
Dance?
eras. Like somebody's
dance
like,
is my favorite one.
oh, dance is a good one, or house. And I'm like, Katy Perry is in house. I don't care how housey it is. It's not. Even though you could arguably say swish is close. Yeah, like eras is the word I hate. It's like rock eras. I'm like, what the fuck's an eras? Like, which era? Not mine.
I don't ever see that one come up. I know what you're talking about, but I don't really see that anymore.
Yeah.
Dance is my biggest pet peeve, and my other pet peeve is urban, because
Yeah,
it means
urban classic.
absolutely nothing. Yeah. Actually, I have a bigger pet peeve is rhythmic. Rhythmic, whatever.
Yeah, rhythmic.
What does that mean?
I don't know what that is either. Up tempo, I go back and forth on. The other one I go up back and forth on, and I catch myself doing it. Instead of putting a genre in, I'm putting like a decade. So I'm like, this is 80s. I'm like, 80s is so vast. It's everything from Depeche Mode to MC Hammer. Like, calling it 80s isn't really giving it a genre definition. I got to this point now where, like, if I use the term 80s, it's usually followed by either like new wave or hair band. Like that way, because what I'd like to do eventually is get into smart crates. I started using them in the last 6 months. I love them. I just want more that are more precise. Because I don't know about you guys. I open my library and click on all, and then just navigate from there. So all this work is kind of moot. But at the same time,
when you work a resident, I do the same thing. When you're a resident, because you want to always change it up and keep it fresh. But I do what you're talking about, where it's 80s and then like new wave or whatever, and it has to have like something to be able to narrow it down a little bit. But we want to talk music with you, and we have a little theme that we're going to play, and we're going to get into some music questions.
Yep, here
Bring
we
it.
go. I'm gonna run this, and we'll do it.
The hills are alive with the sound of music, with songs they have sung for 1,000 years. The hills fill my heart with the sound of music. sing. The mountains look like boobies. My heart wants to sing every song it hears. The mountains look like boobies.
All right, there's Arnold singing The Sound of Music to bring us to our music segment. And the first question we'd like to ask is just, do you have a favorite remixer or producer? And that doesn't even have to be DJ World. It can just be music in general.
It depends on the year. Like right now, I really like that remixer Jet Black. He does a lot of like re-drummy, sort of up tempo. He always does like a acapella break in like the last third of the song. I also really like the Reflex, Nick Bike. And you know, I'm of two minds when it comes to remixes. I either want it so over the top that it doesn't sound anything like the original, or I want it so subtle that it can barely be classified as a redrum. Anything in the middle where it's like, you know, Tipsy Drums over Kanye, I'm like, come on, no. I apologize to anybody who's ever done that mashup or whatever you want to call it, but it's just kind of like, you know, it needs to be, holy shit, this is a whole new song, or this is nice. This is a really nice thing. And I find Reflex, I mean, he's an artist, not just a remixer per se.
Reflex Revision.
Yeah.
And what about on the videos tip of remixer?
Well, still doing it. The hat's got to go off always to my boys, G-Force and Biggie. Even Blaze does some really, really good stuff. I find like I like seeing humor in my edits because most of the places, and we can get into this a little bit later, are more, hey, entertain us, less there's a dance floor. You know, sometimes there's no dance floor. It's literally like video walls and seats, or it might not even have, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, we have a thing here. You might not even have a license to allow people to dance in your venue.
Cabaret license.
Yeah, cabaret license. So that's a thing. So sometimes, you know, having video when you can't have a dance floor is engaging. So sometimes I have a whole subgenre of stuff called comedy. And of course, it has like Weird Al and, you know, shit like that. But it's also like the funnier remix videos and stuff. So, but those
we'll get back to the video. We have a ton of questions for video as well. So this is just the music section right now.
Next question.
What's a go-to song if the dance floor's clearing at a gig? What's the go-to song of yours?
Jackson 5, I Want You Back.
Perfect.
Because it's a drop. It's a drop in. So no matter where I am, no matter what happens, I can either cut in or, you know, do something creative with it. There was that little window of time when people were like really hating on Michael Jackson. And I used to argue, like I got an argument with somebody at a wedding. I'm like, this is young Mike. He's a victim when he sang this song. He wasn't the evil dude. He was young, cute,
the evil dude.
Michael Jackson getting abused by his dad and probably picked on by his brothers and his sisters. This Michael's okay. Like you can't get mad at this Michael.
Do you have in your crates, or do you have Serato close or whatever you use to DJ with?
Serato, yeah. Do like I said,
we do the there you go. We do the Serato top 5 in here, so we would like to know, if possible, if you go search by most played, what in your computer has the most plays.
So what's funny about this is the question is if I usually fix this, but sometimes editors will put in another amount on the play. It's like, this has been played 35,000 times. I'm like, I don't think, there's a bunch in here, 10,000.
And you can skip those. But me and Fuse are going to start doing that with all of our exclusives we've been putting out. Is
you know what to do? Put in like 35. You know what I mean? Because that means I wouldn't delete it. All right. So, here we go. Number 1, I Want You Back. Number 2, Fergalicious. Number 3, Gasolina. Number 4, Move Your Feet by Junior Senior. And number 5, Lip Gloss by Little Mama.
Wow. Awesome. Haven't heard that one. Any honorable mentions?
Well, if you go down a little more, September, Apache, Crazy in Love. Scooter's like Moomba edit of Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield's up there. Teach Me How to Dougie. Ted Smooth's Love on Top. Couple Collie Park remixes. That's pretty much it.
Awesome.
It's all the stuff I play a lot of places that it's all about splitting the uprights. Like as soon as you start deviating, people aren't for it. So,
and You know what I love is that M2 you were able to launch like almost immediately versus that old nasty i7 might have taken us a half hour to
Let's come
get
back to
good.
that. Yeah, that was quick. And that's 3.25 terabytes of music and video that loaded that fast.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's
So,
great.
yeah.
I have one. I just bought one. I haven't even set it up. It's sitting on my desk at home. I have the M2, and Drew keeps
You haven't
asking.
set it up yet?
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Mine sat. I bought it when it was announced. I got it when it was released, and it sat. So that was like February 16th or something like that. And I'm just getting into it now. I had a couple higher profile gigs, and I'm like, I'm not going to be the guy who shows up to a high profile gig and use it for the first time. Like that's
Yeah.
a day
I've
one
got mine
rookie
the
mistake.
same, and it's still kind of sitting there. I've had a lot going on, and just haven't found the time to kind of to get it going. So
With the laptops, do you do two laptops? You have like a home studio laptop, and then you have just the DJing laptop, or it's one for all?
Well, I have that one, and basically what happens is the last one always becomes my backup. So, and the backup will actually act as editing and making flyers and stuff because I like to try to keep them clean as long as I can, and then eventually one day I'll just be like, all right, I'm not touching the old one.
Exactly.
awesome. Let's see here. If you had a theme song that would play everywhere you went, if you walk into the grocery store and it plays, what would that song be?
Earth, Wind, and Fire, Shining Star.
All right.
Just because I'd want to kick in the doors right when that horn hits, the bam, 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 and then it's like the best song to walk to. It's like
Oh,
got
yeah.
such a pimp strut to it. So
It's like the opening song in Superbad, isn't it? Isn't that the
is
opening
it? It's
song?
probably because that movie had a ton of music that I was like, they don't know about this. These kids don't know about this.
Yeah, I think it
So,
was
yeah, it
the
might be.
opening song. Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. Is there any new music that you're really into right now? Anything
Well,
that you're feeling?
Yeah, it
It's
could be
hard
something
to
you're
s-
listening to. It doesn't even
it-
have to be.
Personal, yeah.
Yeah, so when I listen to the New Music Friday playlist every week on Spotify just to make sure I'm not missing anything. Nothing since pandemic on that thing has blown my skirt up. But I do really like Logic. I listen to a lot of Logic and NF. I like NF just put out a new album. My son and I actually have a pretty interesting relationship because he's 16 and he's really into hip hop. And we kind of do the he'll bring me. He's like, Dad, here's like the new Tyler the Creator album, and I'm like, oh cool. Here I'll give him like literally like a Biggie album because he's got a turntable in his room. Like, go listen to this. Here's a Wu-Tang album, and he'd be like, oh here, Joey Badass, check him out. I'm like, all right, cool. Go check out Nas. So it's like a cool little back and forth we have with that. But there isn't a lot coming out, and I hate to sound like the old dude on the lawn, on his porch, screaming get off his lawn. But like until something comes along that's better, what are you supposed to do? I hate to use the example because it's cheesy as hell, but when's the last time we had an Uptown Funk? Like there hasn't been that record, and before that there wasn't really one. Like I'm still playing. I shouldn't say we're all. Many of us are still playing Usher. Yeah, it's just 20 years old, and it's still like a big club song. I'm sure you're not going to play it at at a proper hip hop party, but at a party where people are looking to dance, you're going to play that. And it's just like I'm waiting for that next song, like it's just not being delivered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough right now, that's for sure.
I think part of it is the pandemic. Like people were making music. Like when the new Drake came out, like I actually had two people at one of my gigs. It's a very young crowd. Everybody's under 23. Like, hey, Drake drops at midnight. Can you play it? I'm like, we haven't even heard it yet. We might be looking at another massive. Like as much as I liked everything on that album, I also knew people aren't going to like this. Nobody's going to be coming in here asking for, Texture and Green. Like it's not going to happen. Like for a week it happened, and then everybody forgot about that album or hated it. And then he comes out with Search and Destroy, and I'm like, man, you have no business crying. You got stupid money, beautiful women, the life of Riley, for lack of better terms, and you're like literally crying on a song. Give me another, energy or another start from the bottom.
yeah.
Yeah, I had bigger hopes for that Anderson .Paak, the Bruno Mars album. I wish Skate would have came out a little bit bigger.
Yeah,
than it did.
that everything that so Anderson is one of the dudes in my library that so I use stars. Everything he puts, it gets a star because I genuinely really dig some of the stuff he puts out. it
So
hardly
that's in
works. So well.
iTunes. You use stars in iTunes.
No. Just you hit the world key and it opens up an emoji thing, and then you can drop it in whatever. I use the grouping, so when you look
Okay.
at it, if you were to look at my library, everything's got emojis. So like it's so I don't have to read. Not so good with the reading. Like so for my Latin album, you can go in. I grabbed a Puerto Rico flag and use that. So when I look at it quickly, it's like my eyes go right to the flag. And my reggae, it's got a Jamaican flag. And my
Huh.
80s folder has like the Space Invaders thing. So like, and
How do you
then
search that?
so if you're looking at your keyboard, the bottom left one with the Earth or whatever it's
Yeah.
called, you hit that and it should spawn an emoji, and then you just type in what you're looking for, drag it to a text document, and copy and paste it. So, actually, this real quick. Not that you'll really be able to see it, but I could probably make it bigger.
No, I love the idea. It's just I'm one that's always searching, and so that's why I've never got into emojis
I don't know if you can see it or not. Yeah, it's probably out of focus. Here,
on
hold
the
on.
on the playlists.
Yeah, hold on. Come on, focus. Now I'm gonna have to fix this.
Well, no, I think most of our listeners are audio only, so they can't see it. But
They'll figure it out.
I do like what you're doing there. I can see how that would be beneficial.
Yeah, and then I use a 4-star rating system in my actual tracks. So if a track, like all those songs I listed earlier as my top 5 that I play, they all have 4 stars because I play them all the time. And then I use smart crates. Anything with 4 stars gets a crate, 3 stars gets a crate, 4 stars, 2 stars, so on. And then the master crate has all the stars. So if I get stuck, like, oh my God, why can't I do this? Rather than going to a playlist that's in order and repeating myself, I can look in my stars folder and it's all big songs.
And do the stars dip? Like if a song just randomly starts,
They change.
sucking?
Yeah, they definitely change. There's some songs that I get excited about when they come out. I'm like 3 stars, and then it's like 3 plays, and I'm like, you're getting downgraded. You're getting bumped down the bench. I want to start working on an opener symbol, like maybe like the blue circle, so I can always just have an opening set when needed. But it's becoming that thing where there's too much. Now it's like it's I'm micromanaging 3 terabytes of video. And the thing is that for listeners that don't know, music averages 5 to 20 megabytes per song. A video that's 1080p at 4 minutes is probably about 275 to 350 megabytes. So it sounds like, holy shit, that's a lot, but it's not.
Yeah. What did you get on that new laptop? 4 terabytes?
Yeah, I went with 4. I was carrying a 4 terabyte Seagate, not Seagate, Lacey Rugged. And like I said, I've been just going through my library, getting rid of, the 90 copies of, I Want to Dance with Somebody. I want the original, I want a decent remix, and everything else is getting cut.
Yep. And it just stays on an external. You can always get it. It didn't need to delete it. It's just not living in Serato.
Right. That external is now my backup. So,
right.
And now that I'm on this one, I'm just chopping down trees like madman.
Totally.
All right.
We would love to hear a funny or crazy DJ story, like a night where there's celebrities, maybe, or maybe a night gone bad. Anything.
So
a
many nights
great
gone bad.
DJ story.
I can go back. This is one of my favorite stories because when I tell it, I feel like it didn't really happen. And I'm like, I've actually asked myself, is this Mandela effect? And then I'm reminded because there is a video of it somewhere out there. And we're going to go back to WMC 2003. I had a relationship with a friend of mine who was working at the Clevelander down in Miami. And he was like, hey, man, like, you want to throw a party for WMC down here with a bunch of Boston guys? I was like, yeah, man, that'd be great. Now, I've been DJing at that point for less than a half dozen years. Like a lot of people, even today, I had my gigs that paid my bills, but I was a house head. I was, if something came out on anything Eric Murillo put out or, Harry Chucho Romero, I was really into that, like sort of New York house sound, as well as like Southern breaks. So a lot of stuff like the Florida guys are into. So I was like, man, this is amazing. I get to go down to WMC and play the set. And then there was a couple curveballs that came at us. The biggest curveball is like, well, Sunday is our bikini contest. So I'm like, no problem, we can do that. And then they're like, it's also our barbecue. I'm like, no problem, they can do that. We're gonna need you to hit the beach with like flyers and stuff. Whatever, it's WMC. I'm not big enough to be like, I'm not passing out flyers. So definitely go do that. And they're like, well, you need to get girls for the contest too. All right. So all these things pile up. And I'm getting to that point as the main DJ and the organizer where I'm like, you cross the I'm excited to I just want this to be fucking over. I'm over it. Like, I'm done. And it starts off and it's slow. And then they're like, oh, so there's a bar minimum. If you don't make it, you got to pay the difference. But we always make it on Sunday. So now I'm like 23. I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm gonna have to friggin' take out like a $20,000 loan to pay the Clevelander for drinks that people didn't buy. He's like, no. He's like, we've never not hit that number on a Sunday. But still, the heart drops.
Then why even have that? Why even have that stipulation? Holy,
yeah, it was a bit much. So, anyways, the doors open and it's slow, and the first thing I think of is, oh shit. The first couple DJs play, it's still a little slow. Now, the bikini contest is supposed to happen, I want to say around 4. And they're like, you don't have to worry about hosting it. We have a host. It's all set. And people are coming back with like, hey, we got girls for the contest and things are looking up. I'm like, this is great. We finally plateau. We have more than enough girls. Place is packed. Everybody is playing is doing an excellent job. I played like in the middle. So like that was done. And then they're like, all right, let's do the bikini contest. So the host comes out and they are a 6'5" to 6'7" in heels drag queen. Fucking hilarious. One of the funniest people I've ever seen. Just those people that are always on. It's like they know, and this is pre-phone. It's like there's a camera on them all the time. They're always on. They're always funny. Perfect host. Gets out there, and I'm like right next to the stage. The stage goes across the pool, kind of like a pier. And the contestants go out. They do a little dance with the drag queen, and he ushers them off. Makes a funny joke about how skinny their ass is or whatever, and they go. Second girl comes out, top off, poof, gone, and I'm like, all right, it's a party. And everybody that I've met up to that point who works at the spot loses their shit. And if you don't know this, because if you've never been there, the Clevelander is on the street. So people walking by can see inside. And like, they're like, we can't have this, we can't have it. I'm like, I just organized the DJs. I'm like, you have to, talk to the person who's like paying the person run the contest. So they pull them all over, all the girls, and like, listen, you can't take your tops off. You can't do anything like that. Just go out and dance. And the girls are like, all right. So all the girls go back, and my buddy's like, hey, do you know who that is? And I'm like, no. And I honestly can't remember her name, but 2 of them were apparently porn stars. And I was like, oh, they're so getting naked. Like, I know they're gonna, like, it's in their job description. Like, it's definitely going that way. And I'm like, I'm gonna get so, because I'm young and naive, so I'm freaking out. And when each girl comes out now, the host is like, hey, listen, like, keep it classy. I know we're in Miami, but keep it classy. So the next 3 or 4 girls, keep it classy. The porn stars, keep it classy. This cute little girl. Now, like I said, this guy was 6'7". This girl had to be 2'6". Like, her head was literally up to his belly. And she's dancing extremely provocatively. So much so, and this is where the story gets crazy, that the drag queen goes over and grabs her by the waist and picks her up like this, like Simba, and is like holding her up in the air. And she's like dancing and flailing. She swings her legs up on top of his shoulders and sits up. So now his face is in her crotch. Her legs are over his back, and he's holding her up, and she's still dancing. And everybody was like, oh my God, and screaming and clapping. Then she does basically like a back bend, but her knees are hooked on his shoulders. So when she does the back bend, basically putting her back against his stomach, but upside down, her top explodes and flies across the pool. Then she freaks out because she doesn't know what's going on. So she's grabbing for anything, and she grabs his wig, pulls it off his head. And if you've ever seen a drag queen get their wig pulled off, it's Benny Hill level humor. It's just, I was waiting for the music to happen. It was just, so she like falls off and she's covering herself with this. The drag queen like picks up his mic and he's like, "Oh my God, oh bitch, get back here with my hair." And like she's running across and the whole place is just in hysterics. And they both run off the stage and everybody's just like, I laughed so hard, like I almost threw up. And I just remember there's this one split second almost like photograph in my head that I have of just looking at the whole venue and everybody dying laughing and them running off into the back room and just being like, "I threw a fucking hell of a party." So that's probably I've seen some shit, but that was the moment that I was just like, sometimes shit goes sideways and it's hilarious.
So did you have to cover any of the bill?
No,
or you
I made
actually
money.
your
Like,
Oh, you made money.
I actually
Okay.
made money. I got to pay the DJs a little bit, not a lot, but you know, like it was 2003 Miami. Like just to be able to play there was, you know,
Right.
pretty crazy. So yeah, that's probably, I've told that story a few times. It's one of my favorites, and it's just because, like I said, it felt like a movie. I'm like, you can't write this. And it didn't have anything to do with DJing. I was sitting on the pool just watching cute girls start across the stage. So
It's so good. I love it.
We want to talk a little bit about video DJing and what you're using, what you're doing. So we'll just I'll ask a few questions. What are you using to do video DJing? Are you using Serato Video, Mix Emergency?
yeah, so I use Serato, the newest version, and Mix Emergency. Having the new computer, I just started messing with stems, which is exciting. Hardware, I'm using generally 1200s with phase in either a 72 or an S11. Smaller gigs, I have a Rain 1, absolutely love it. For places I can't use turntables.
And one of the things that you said, you talked about, more entertaining videos. Can you go just a little more in depth with that? Something you like to do?
I want to interject and add to that is something I DJ, and I tend to have arguments with, I video DJ as well. And so I tend to argue with some people just keep the generic, boring, original video. And I always think, me and Fuse will do a loop or just putting something funny on it. I think always sells it 10 times more than just the straight up video. Just wondering, your thoughts on that.
100%. And not to like toot my own horn, because that's certainly not what I'm about to do. For some of the things I'm about to talk about, I did a very long-winded tutorial. It's on my YouTube page. It's a Twitch stream that I recorded. It's like 3.5 hours, but I literally go from open Mix Emergency through every single feature in Mix Emergency, how to use it, and it's long-winded, but after you watch it, you'll be able to do some of the things I talk about. One of the rules that I always push on other people, and I push on myself as much as I can, is that there's not really one right answer, because we all play different rooms. So when somebody's like, "Well, don't do that," I'm like, "Well, you're not in my room. You've never seen my room. You're not dealing with the people I deal with. You don't know my owner. Like, my owner might be cool and never shows up, or he might be breathing down my neck." There's so many variables in DJing. To like use one color ink to like draw the rules is just asinine. So anything I say here, it's not really a rule as it is sort of like a suggestion for a ideology. So like you were saying, there's some rooms I do that in nonstop. One of the things I've done over the years is there's a lot of really good EDM videos that the music either is dated, we're not playing again, or it's just a shitty song, but the video is really freaking good, and there's nobody singing in it or anything.
Yeah,
So
I've done this because the videos are so good. The EDM.
one of the ones I'll use, it's a little bit controversial, but it is a fucking amazing video, is A-Track's Big Bad Wolf.
Oh yeah.
If you've ever seen that video, it's one that gets people like gasping at the screen. Now, again, if you're in the kind of place where you might get in trouble for playing this, like I wouldn't use this video at a prom. Certainly not
Right.
like a religious school's video mix prom. Like when somebody says like, "Hey, can you do a prom?" I'm like, I don't know, man. In a club, you can be like, "Hey, man, people are having sex in the bathroom. People over here doing cocaine. There was just 3 fights, and you're mad that there's a girl in a bikini." Like you can make that argument at a bar, at a school, not so much. So yeah,
Now,
I definitely do that as well.
no, the funny is everything. That video is so amazing, and you know exactly what you're saying.
What I do is every single video like that can be used as a video for another song, I put the word stock somewhere in it. And then I use smart crates to create a folder with everything labeled stock. And then I have in Mix Emergency, I have one folder because in the media player, you can drop a folder and it will randomly grab a different clip. So I have like, my dance battle between Yoda and Baby Groot video. Like people love that. So that's in there. I also found like a bunch of Dance Party USA videos with like Kelly Ripa when she was like 14 and they're fucking horrible. But like people love those. Like, so like all those are in there. And sometimes I elect not to play the video because those are funnier. And I have a crowd who is either sitting and eating or sitting at the bar having a conversation. The music's not that loud. And my
Yeah.
job isn't to get them dancing. It's to keep them there and to get them to buy another drink.
What I wanted to ask was, do you preset these? Because a lot of what I'll do is I'll preset these. So if I have that loop, that Baby Groot or whatever, I'll be like, oh, that would go great with this. I'll preset it. Or are you just doing it on the fly? You let it randomly pick, or do you go through the folder and pick it if you think that's going to work?
I do both. Like sometimes there's been happy accidents where like I've played an audio track and the video that hit out of the folder, because I have like 50 something videos in that folder, worked. And I'm like, beautiful, love it. And then other times like it pops up a video and it's more of like a visual, for lack of better terms. And I'm like,
Right.
I don't want that right now. So I go into the stock folder, and most of the times what I do for stock video in the comments, I'll be like funny Lego video, or, like whatever, an elevator pitch, super short description of what the video is. And then I'll be like, oh yeah, like this is a funny, like I have a bunch of like dance clips, like from movies. And
Yeah.
I have like an 80s one, a 90s one, and whatever. And like the people love those. They're tacky. It is the Hello Cleveland to comedians as it is to video DJs. Like you can just throw those on. People love them.
Yeah.
They're hilarious.
If somebody was looking to get started in video DJing, what would you tell them to do? How would you tell them about, maybe what would be your suggestion for building a small bass library, like where you got to go play your first video gig?
Well, I mean, so there's obviously a couple sites out there that make edits. I wouldn't say we're not at the point where you can say you use YouTube for your edits, but I'm also not going to say I haven't done it myself. The big thing with YouTube, it's okay for video content. It's not okay for audio content. The audio that goes up on these videos is atrocious. It's the one thing that they're like, hey, let's just rip this up at this. And you don't know what it is until you open it. So when I'm editing, I have like the video files, audio, and then my audio, and I'm looking at the waveform, just like, how did they even upload this? I'm like, is this like recorded off of somebody's phone in front of a speaker? Like,
Right.
it's horrible. So, but the video content that they're putting up, they're getting better and better and better at the level of professionalism that it spits out. So I would say 10 years ago, I would have said, do not use YouTube as a place to get video content. Today, things are uploaded at 4K at a relatively high bit rate, at a proper frame rate. Like there was a time before where like people were ripping DVDs at 30 frames per second, but they were actually really at 23.98 and then putting them up at 25. So by the time you downloaded it, it's been mishandled 3 times and it just looks like garbage.
Right.
With new content, these people that are making these videos, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I've got a couple 4K 60 frames per second videos that are gorgeous off of YouTube. Now, here's what I will say on the other side of that coin. The artists deserve their money. So I would say that is for the shit. There's no video for this. I need to make something. I'm going to go see what I can find and make it happen. Your main library should be curated by a pool. Like I really believe that paying people for for their time is the way to go. So a legal pool that the money is at least somehow getting back to the people who made this stuff is the way to go. And I would start like we did earlier, look at your most played tracks and go get those. There's a good chance if you're an open format DJ, there is a video for everything you're playing. And if there isn't, there's like a what we call makeshift or lyric video. Like Extendamix is really good. They have people who make videos, lyric videos for songs that have never had a video. Like they just put one up recently for Bridge Girl by Lucci Lou. There's never been a video for that. And it's obviously a massive song. So they commissioned somebody to make a lyric video. And I don't know about you guys, oftentimes lyric videos go over or are a little bit more engaging than a regular video. I don't live by them. I generally always lean towards the original, but sometimes if you have a song that's kind of a sing-along, having the lyrics like creatively, not just subtext, but creatively on the screen can really get people singing.
To really nail home what you're saying, if they do want to get into it, just going through and downloading your top lists, and you're going to be good going through a pool, because you don't need to have every single one, and then going and finding some of these fresh loops and ways to these EDM videos to like spice it up. That's a great way to do it. You do make a lot of your own custom stuff, because I remember when I was watching you on Twitch, you make a lot of custom stuff. What do you use for that? Is that like a Final Cut?
I'm a Premiere guy. I started out on Vegas from like 2007 to like 2010. I was using Vegas, and then I switched over to the Premiere Adobe suite, just because I love the idea of like I can jump into Audition and clean up the audio. I can jump into Photoshop and create text or do something with an image and bring it over, and it's all in one place. During the pandemic, I messed around a little bit with DaVinci. It's a different language almost. Like it's similar, but like I really fumbled with it. So I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna stick with Premiere. I've locked in like a price, I got a discount out the gate, and I just don't touch it, and hopefully they never take away that discount. I
was gonna say also, he mentioned Avalon, and what necessarily, like, what are you doing there with video?
So there's a kind of interesting thing that happened. I have a relationship with a good friend of mine, DJ RM, and another friend of mine, Greg Pick, both play there. It's just a matter of time. Like we all play the same rooms. Eventually they were like, hey man, like, he's like, you want to get in? I can probably make it happen. You're going to have to do like an audition date. Funny story. My audition date, I show up, I'm like, I'm nervous. If you're not getting nervous, something's wrong. Although on the outside, I always try to like act like I've been there 100 times. I was nervous.
Game face.
Yeah, 100%. Like they're like, this is this. And I'm like, yeah, man, no problem. I got it. And then I look at the video wall, and I'm nerd scoping. I'm like, there's a video wall. There's the switcher, and he's running the video from his computer. All right, noted. They're like, hey man, Daddy Yankee is doing a concert across the hall. Think you can play some Daddy Yankee tonight? Yeah, man, no problem. Like I said, Gasolina was like one of my top songs I've been playing. And as we all know, Latin music has been huge for the last 5 years. And then about 10 minutes before the opener's playing, he's like, we're starting to sell tables for the post show. So if you can go a little heavy on the Daddy Yankee. I was like, yeah, man, not a problem. So now I'm 2 songs in. They're like, we sold out all our tables. Can you just do Latin all night? And I'm like, now this is my first time there. And I'm like, challenge issued. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like these are the stories that, that test you, not like I walked in and they loved everything I did and they offered me a residency. And no, it's here's what do you do with this? What are you going to do here? Like I could have easily just been like, no, but I'm a hoarder. So I had most of that stuff. And I mean, honestly, for a Latin crowd, if you have Raul Alejandro, Bad Bunny, El Alfa, Jay Cortez, Mike Towers, and, a handful of other artists, you can easily put together a good 2-hour set. Especially with like, they want it upbeat, but it's more of a guideline than a rule. So with that, I was like, hey, why don't I do video? And they're like, you have videos for all that? I'm like, of course. And I always bring like a 30-foot HDMI. And because I'm the nerd that I am, I already scoped it out, looked at it. He's like, well, what do you got to do? I was like, this song's 3 minutes. Give me a second. Bang, 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 bang. Had it up. And they're just like, holy shit. And now I had already talked to my friend RM about it before. I kind of had a plan going in. I made a bunch of like dynamic Avalon visuals that are in the sample player that are music reactive. So no matter what track I'm playing, the Avalon logo is like bouncing around to the music. And then I did like a inverted filter. So like now the whole screen's black, but the video is shining through the Avalon logo and the Avalon text. So I'm
I'll
not
tell you.
blowing people's eyes out with brightness, that thing. So like I thought about it, I knew I had a plan, but I wasn't gonna go in there and kick in the door and be like, I'm a video DJ and I'm gonna change everything you do. Like that's the way to go about it. But I figured like, hey, listen, let's see. And they're like, you have videos for all those songs? It's like 100% done. It's 2 hours, guys. Like it's not a big deal. Not that I'm gonna long play those tracks, but and it went over really well. They were kind of blown away by the video. I went back. The relationship is definitely like matured in a great place where I'm in the rotation now. They kind of have guests and residents, so it's not like I'm there once a month, but I'm in the circle, so it's kind of nice. But that is a big room where if you were to say, like, for lack of better terms, you'd be like, you don't do video in a room like Avalon. You don't. It's a night,
Right.
like, and I'd even say that. I'd also know how to make a video set look like a VJ set, or the opposite. So like we talked about, some rooms there's people sitting down and your job is to keep them sitting and take their money. And other rooms it's to get them dancing or get them to escape. And there's tools in video to do both those things. Now whether or not you use them is kind of what, more often than not, what I run into when I go into a new venue. We had a guy that did video here before, and this is what he did. And I'm like, oh, all right, why don't we try it once? And if you don't like it, we'll scrap it. And then I usually pull out all the guns. I'll bring my camera and I'll put it on the crowd and then work the crowd camera into my video set. So halfway through the set, boom, you turn it on, everybody's on the screen and they lose their shit. I use things like Jam Text and some other venues. So like, it's interactive. People are like posting pictures and sending messages and stuff. It really depends. It's really about bringing the right tool to the right gig. Like I said,
Well,
showing up to Avalon and playing funny videos wouldn't be it.
no,
Not the
right.
move, right? So like knowing that is what I feel some people don't get. And I've heard the stories from all these other venues around New England too. Like I've heard people say like, oh, his videos are great, but the music sucked. And I'm like, well, Jesus Christ. That's like our number one job. And I think every video DJ worth his salt will tell you our number one job is mixing music. And
Audio first.
yeah, audio first. Video is 100% secondary. And I another thing I say to people, and this is coming from like the video DJ community, before you start doing video, make sure you're at least good enough on audio first. Like if you're still struggling with mixes and you're struggling with, like you can't count to 32, or like mixing on measure is a problem. Wait, video's not going anywhere. It'll be here for you once you work out the starting block issues. Once you got the starting block issues out of the way and you're proficient enough to get through a night without any problems, without any train wrecks, dead air, or using an exorbitant amount of crutches to like limp through the night, take on video, because it can be a little overwhelming out the gate.
It's super overwhelming. I think one of my problems is when I do go back to audio, I feel like I realize I leaned so heavy on the video aspect of it, selling the experience, that my not that my audio was lacking, it's just that it didn't have the wow factors. The wow factor always came from the video,
Mhm.
right? So I was using both of those to highlight it. So now I have to try to be a lot more cautious and make sure
There's
I'm
definitely songs I feel like that I don't play when I'm not doing video, because I'm like, well, I don't have that video for this, and the video makes that song work. Because when they hear it in just an audio setting, they're like, that's kind of whack. But then you hear it and you see some dumb video that's going to it. It's completely different.
A great example of that is, again, I'll throw a shout out to Scooter. His edit of "Call Me Maybe," which is "Call Me Maybe" over "Feel So Close" by what's his face,
Calvin Harris.
Calvin Harris, right? Really great edit. There is a video edit I did of this kid on YouTube who was on, it might have been Omegle or one of those chat apps, in a wig and a bikini singing "Call You Maybe." And dude, that edit just commands attention. And again, like I'd never play that at Avalon. because
No.
even though it is a high energy song and it's whatever, but it's not what I'm looking to do there. But in other rooms, I play that is people take out their cameras, they take pictures, they take videos. The sky's
That's
the
when you
limit
know
with
you're
the
doing it right. When
with
they're
the
taking
interactions.
video of the video.
The other one is I did an edit of again, mediocre song. The video reaction is amazing. Jason Derulo's Ryan Solo. Is that what it is? Yeah, Ryan
Oh,
Solo.
yeah.
There's a video game, like a Dance Revolution game, where it's Star Wars characters and it's Han Solo doing Ryan Solo.
Wow.
And the first verse is Han Solo, the second verse is Lando. And they're doing dance moves and it's instructional. So everybody just dances along with the screen, and I use that opportunity to throw my follow me on Instagram over it. And people are like, oh, all right, like it's a next sense. If DJing was 100% auditory and lights were like the second one, the video would be the third one. And again, it's not every night, it's not every venue, and it's not every DJ. But when you do find those places where it does work, it really, really, really can be that intangible thing that's keeping people there.
Yeah. I don't want you to give away your secrets, but I do, if you don't mind sharing. Are you just spending way too much time on YouTube to find these? You know what I mean? Because like Ryan Solo with Han Solo, like where would you even find that?
Well, what's funny is like you said, like finding those funny clips. I used to just search periodically for dance battle,
Right.
and there was a lot of crews of choreographers were like shooting these like dance videos for songs, and like one of the ones that always comes to mind is Click by Jay-Z and Kanye West. There's no video for that, but I happen to stumble across like this really good dance crew doing like a video, and the dude is actually like mouthing the lyrics, and they were doing shit like they had like remote controls in the video and like making the camera shake, and I was like, this is better than any video they could have done. Like, so
Right.
you start looking for things like that, and then you start recognizing names of different people. Like, I don't know if you guys ever, this is a big nerd dive, but there's a group called Bat in the Sun, and they make comic book mini movies of verses. It's like Wolverine versus Batman, and they're like really well done. But when they release the B-roll footage, they always have the people in their outfits dancing. So like I'll go and grab all those clips of all those people dancing and put them together into one video. And then it's like, like Star-Lord and Harley Quinn dancing. And then like Boba Fett comes in, he starts dancing. People are like,
wait, what were they called again?
I'm not going to say it again. No, it's called Bat in the Sun. This kid, Aaron, I forget his second name, but they do amazing, amazing stuff. And it's a win-win for me because I'm a huge comic book nerd. So I love watching that. Basically they'll do a poll, who'd win in a fight, and then they shoot the video with two different endings. First day they do the regular ending, the second day they do the alternative ending, and then like a week later they'll do like the B-roll. And there's like a great one of like Joker and Harley Quinn versus Deadpool and Domino, like a dance battle between the four of them. It's just amazing. So it's just things like that work really well for me.
As a DJ first, and you're doing video. Just talking with you right now, you're getting me inspired to think, why aren't you going to an artist or some of this and saying like, I can make your video better? Because you have an eye and you have like that thing of what is going to hit, right? You're grabbing these other stuff and mashing it up. So I almost think like you should be attacking some of these artists and going to them and being like, I could make you a really killer ass video.
I guess, dreams. Aspirations. I would love to be able to be like Spike Jones and like they get like the videos.
That new guy, Lyrical Lemonade, or what's his name? Anyways, he has his own channel, and he basically was just kind of shooting artists, and then he ended up just blowing up. And now all the artists, he makes the video, but it goes on his channel.
Oh wow!
Not on the artist's channel, so he's become like his own guy.
You remember back in the day, like from the Cribs generation, the videos were all like, who spends the most money, who rented the nicest cars and had the hottest girls, and now it's like there's some videos out there like that are super minimalist. I really like. I love like the Childish Gambino "This Is America" video. Like it's
so
obviously good. It's powerful, and obviously it sets people off in different directions. But like I look at the that is like a movie, like it's a small movie. Or the guy who does All Joyner Lucas's videos, he's actually from around here, and he does amazing. All Joyner Lucas's videos are like thought provoking. You know, like
Yeah.
if I don't know if you ever seen like the I'm Not Racist video.
Mm.
That is one of I'd never play it, but from like a viewer's perspective, watching that video, you're just like, this is some deep shit. Like it's amazing.
Have you seen some of the mashups with This Is America? I think there's a Call Me Maybe one where
God.
they put Call Me Maybe onto it, and it goes like so in time to it. It's just amazing, so good.
I'll tell you.
Um, we know that the video conference is coming up. I don't know if you want to mention it, or we're going to have Mr. E on here in a little bit, but you know, if you want to just mention it, as
You
soon as it's
know,
coming up.
yeah. So I've been fortunate enough to be friends with Mr. E and a lot of the people that were in the helm of video DJing over the last decade. And the first two video DJ conferences were amazing. I had a blast. I made a ton of new friends. The thing about video DJing, it's a subculture of a subculture of a subculture, and finding that, you know, there's most of the video DJs around here are friends of mine, and a lot of them got into video. I wouldn't, definitely not saying because of me, but because I was like, you should do video too, because I need video DJs. And there was,
Yeah.
you know, like I act as resident and entertainment director for like 5 venues, so I'm constantly like,
It's
you know,
hard to find.
yeah, it is. And
Yeah.
again, like a lot of these places were replacing other people that tried to do video and did it poorly. And oftentimes what you come back to is just lackluster DJing, you know, or no, I dare say the phrase non-contemporary style of DJing, like DJing like we did in 2005, maybe, you know, playing the whole song, playing, you
Right.
know, house songs because you like them that are new that nobody's really feeling, or not utilizing all the things we use. Like most of the guys I work with, we all use Mix Emergency. We all use the sequencer. If you're not familiar with the sequencer, it allows you to make your videos kind of do things to the music. It uses the Serato's quantize function to make all the effects actually go exactly to the music.
Yeah.
So that's why it's not like we talked about some of those EDM videos. Some are amazing. Some are just like the Titanium video. That is just the worst. It's shot in slow motion. It's
Some
like,
of those Avicii ones are too really
yeah,
bad
it's like
too.
shot
Oh.
during the day. Like you put it on, I'm like brightness down, like, you know,
Yeah.
like, and I'm like, how am I going to make this video? Like if I don't want to play a different one, and that's where like the sequencer comes into play. Also beat driven effects, you know, so you take a video. It's one of the reasons, and quite a few of us did this. We used to build all the effects into our actual video. So if you watch like my video for Bass Down Low by the Cataracts, that shit is, I should have a warning for like epilepsy. There's so many strobes and flips and things going on. And then I was like, well, what happens if you play this song early? Now like the lights are going freaking crazy and it's 10:30 and you're stuck. Like you're like, I can't play this song this early because the video is so aggressive.
Right.
So with the sequencer, it allows you to add those things in real time. So you're like,
Right.
hey, like it's 10 o'clock, this video is a little crazy. So I'm gonna put a like reverse Sophia filter on it so it like buns down the craziness. Or, you know, it's 12:30 and I'm going to play like there's that rave remix of Titanium that came out like 2 years ago. That's just friggin' epic. It's got like big horns in it and everything. And when it hits, it's bordering like techno. But the video is just slow motion girl on a bike driving down the street. I'm like, what the fuck? So, you know, I built a strobe filter with like a gradient color wheel that shoots through
Yeah.
it. So now you have like bang, bang, bang to the video. And
So Mix Emergency all day. Stop using
Yeah,
Serato video. It's not
so
even a
there's
thing.
before you even open Serato video, you're already at a disadvantage. Mix Emergency utilizes the Mac. That's why there's no PC version. It utilizes the Mac hardware and the GPU in a way that doesn't really harm your computer as much as Serato video. And the output of Mix Emergency is just leaps and bounds ahead of
Yeah.
Serato video. Like I have walked into rooms and been like, that's Serato. Like that's Serato video. Like,
Because it
I
runs
see
so shaky. Yeah,
and it's just the
can't see.
quality. I'm like, this
Yeah.
is, I know this is a 1080p video, but it doesn't look like it.
unfortunately, we don't have a lot more time, but what we do want to ask is, what is the dates for that video conference, and where should they look it up if they want to attend?
I think it's VDJC or Video DJ Conference. It's on, there's a group on Facebook. There's a page on Instagram. It's the third week of August, I believe the 20th to the 22nd. You can stay longer. There's going to be things for the entire week. But one of the things when talking about it, a lot of us were like, we work. It's, you can't, and I think a lot of DJ shows realize this now. So doing like the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday thing is a lot better. It's in LA and it's August. It's going to be hot as shit, but it's an excuse for me to get out there for a couple days. My mom lives in Vegas. My sister lives in San Diego. So I'll try to catch up with them, learn. I mean, that's real. Like, I learn every time I go to one of these things. Or I don't want to say steal, but you see something, you're like, oh man, I didn't even think of that. And these people are kind of your friends.
I remember the video DJ channel during the Twitch video DJ channel during the pandemic, and just being like taking notes, like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. We almost started like playing shitty videos just so we weren't burning ourselves.
We got one more thing that we do, and I'm going to play a segment video. We call it The Sauce, and it's just kind of our final takeaway. If you have any good advice to your younger self or something you wish you did different, I'm going to roll this video, then we'll talk about it.
The name is Bootsy, baby. And this shout out goes out to Drew and Fuse, all the way from Cincinnati to the LBC Bobble. Yeah, I was told you guys are quite the chefs, and you got a delicious sauce that you cooked up. Ooh, and it drips that swagoo and breaks down the recipe. Yeah, and you giving up the P, cause it's funky, as in good, that is, finger funkin' good, on the one by the power of the one. Yeah, without that, there is none. So get yours and be in tune with the one that loves you. Get it, baby.
All right,
That's
there's
amazing.
Bootsy, and we want to know the recipe. So what would you tell your younger self? What's a piece of advice or anything like
Or
that?
tell upcoming DJs that want to get into videoing, just the sauce. What's your big takeaway? What do you let people know?
I'll split this down two ways. On the tech side, it would be start your managing your library. If you're starting today, it's a day too late. Get in now. Be particular. Be exacting. Get rid of bullshit. Do not hoard. And really, if I could go back, I would have years and genres, and I wouldn't be looking at 3 terabytes of shit. Just going, like, I spent hours on my couch. Just, what year did this come out? Oh, okay. Just start from the beginning. Start there. If you know your library, it's like an artist knowing their palette. So manage that. And on the other side is, video isn't for everywhere. Just because you do video doesn't mean you need to force it into every place. There's something to be said for not doing it at a place and allowing them to be like, hey, I heard you do video, and then explore it. Now, what's the payoff of that? It may be nothing, but I feel like you shouldn't try to shoehorn video in everywhere. It's not, because there's something that happens in the video world. We all like want to tell everybody else how you do it, and they should do it the same way too. And it's just like, why? Like, I had a conversation recently about using the mic, and I'm like, I'm not a mic guy. And they're like, well, you should, because this guy does this. And I'm like, I don't want to be him. I'm like, I don't want to copy somebody else. I want to be me. Like, so my lane is here, and that's where I want to live. You telling me like this guy does this, and now I have to do it too if I want to be good? Like, that literally removes the artistry from the art. Like, man, like, now if you're doing something bad, sure, let the dude know, like, hey man, like, I'm not one to talk about key clash, but holy shit, don't ever mix those two again. Like, fucking horrible. But like, like, there's a difference between corrective, intent and just being like, I hate when people are like, if you're playing this song, you're whack. And I'm like, you don't know. There's some kid in India, and he's starting to DJ, and that's his jam, and you just shut him down. And now we just lost another dude who might have been great one day because you want to let everybody know how much the song's whack. Like, why do that? Unless, of course, it's Clay Aiken.
Way to bring it full circle right there.
Yeah.
It's called a callback in comedy.
Perfect.
good.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time to be here with us today. Can you let everybody know where they can find and follow you at?
Of course. Yeah. Thank you guys. Like I said, so unexpected. I've only done like 3 podcasts. I did a lot, obviously, in the Twitch era, but it's DJ Joshua Carl, and that's fortunately everywhere. All social medias, it's DJ Joshua Carl.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to be here with us today. And once again, if you guys are listening, make sure you use that YOLO line, 562-246-YOLO. We got the code for DMS, 30% off Drew and Fuse show. DAFS is for Briggs Beard Company if you want 20% off your order. And that's going to wrap it up for today. So until next time, we'll see you guys later. Peace.
Peace.